Bienvenidos todo el mundo a la Ciudad de Mexico. Welcome to Mexico. For the beautiful neighborhood of Frida Kahlo, Coyoacán. Here in the lower part of Mexico City, used to be a different town all of it itself. And we're going to learn a lot about it with a architect slash tour guide. So excited to show you around today. I'm Ariel with Urbanists. Let me know where you're watching from. I'm joined to be tour guiding us today, but he does run the company Mexico Underground. Go to Mexico Underground YouTube to check out their tours if you want to continue seeing Mexico City after I go back and go to another place. And follow him on Yubish Yadin on Instagram. But let me introduce you to our tour guide today, and he'll be filming around. So you'll see a HD version of this entire tour. All right, let's go. So here is Museo De Frida Kahlo. And here we have
Okay. Here. Hi, I'm Indra.
You are an architect and tour guide as well.
Yes, I'm an architect and a tour guide. This is because I'm passionate about the history of the buildings in Mexico City.
That's
so
really cool.
I started to share my passion with the people, and I didn't know that I could be paid for that.
Right.
That's why I became a tour guide with Ubish over here.
And so in tour guiding, you also do architecture tours as well.
Yes, I do architecture tours almost all over the city.
Oh, that's wonderful. Because there's great architecture everywhere.
Yeah, it's everywhere. And also how the city has changed by all these years, and even from the 16th century. And you can see architecture, very ancient architecture from 16th century, 17th century, 18th, 19th century. So that's why it's very passionate. And also modern architecture that we already don't know by famous architects.
Right.
But we have always hidden jewels inside the city. So that's why I love the city so much. And also another important thing is that you never end to know the city.
Yeah.
You will always find new places and new things that because we are always building something. Always. That's why it's very amazing.
That's the great thing. So we're starting at probably the most famous place in all of Mexico City.
Yeah.
La Casa Azul.
La Casa Azul. The blue house. Guillermo Kahlo, that was the father of Frida Kahlo. And Guillermo Kahlo was a Polish guy. And he was a photographer. A very famous photographer. And his photography is awesome. If you can take a look at Guillermo Kahlo's work, it's amazing.
Where can we find it?
Almost all the internet, all over the internet,
That's
and
great.
also they have exhibitions sometimes. I don't know exactly where right now because I don't know who has like all the work of Guillermo Kahlo, but it's always rotating.
Oh.
Important in art, almost because his father was a photographer.
Right.
A lot of the photographies that we have of Frida Kahlo were made by Guillermo Kahlo. That's right. Okay.
Oh, I see. And that's where she gets her last name.
Yeah, exactly.
And also her first name, which is
Frida.
Yeah, Frida.
Frida is like a very interesting name. It's not like a very Mexican name.
Right.
Well, right now, nowadays, it's very common because of the artist. But it's not a very common name in Spanish. Frida.
Oh,
It's more like Maria is like the most common name in Spanish for women.
Right.
Mostly. Okay.
So let's show around.
Yeah.
And let me just double check something over here. All right, cool, awesome. Yeah, awesome. All right. So what are the materials that we're seeing, since I know you love architecture?
Yes.
What are the materials that we're seeing here?
We have volcanic rock because we are very close from a volcano that now is not active, the Xitle.
The Xitle.
The Xitle volcano. So the people of Coyoacán started to build with volcanic rock in their houses, and also we have quarry as well. Because of this house, it was built by Guillermo Kahlo, but it was built in the beginning of the 20th century because it was already country land. We are very, not far away, but a little far away from downtown, Coyoacán downtown.
Oh, I see.
Okay.
Which we're going soon.
Yeah, so over there we have the Volcanic Rock. Yes, this one. This one is the Volcanic Rock, and over here is Quarry. Okay. We have different names. This one is, how do you say it? Like Roca Ignea is not like a regular name, but we have another type of volcanic rock that the name is Tezontle. That we're gonna see it in the oldest buildings in Coyoacán, in the center of Coyoacán.
Oh, cool.
Okay.
Oh, so there are different types of volcanic rock.
Yes.
That's fascinating.
Yes, because it depends on how you treat the rock.
Right.
So this one is a little more rough than the other one, and this is not as open like the other one. The other one is like a sponge.
Okay, so this one's less porous.
Less porous.
We see it.
That's right.
It's a lot harder to.
Exactly.
And in terms of painting, because we're gonna see a lot of colorful houses as we start walking. Houses.
Okay, the blue house is because Frida wanted that color for the house.
Yeah.
So that's why this is a very, we call it like king blue. The name in Spanish, the name of the color. And because of this combination of colors, if you see the green is because of the cactus, right? The color of the cactus.
Oh, I see.
And then we have the blue for Frida's purpose. And then this red color is more like the earth, like represents also the earth.
Oh, I see.
Okay, because a lot of houses here in Coyoacán were made with earth bricks.
Yeah.
That the name in Spanish is adobe, like Adobe Photoshop.
Right, Adobe.
It's the same.
That's where the name comes from.
No, I don't think so. But it is the same stone. It's like the same way to. It's earth and with water. And sometimes that this is not as vivid, the color, but the color is a little earthy.
Right.
I don't know how to say.
That's the right way. I think that's the perfect way of saying it. Earthy or more pastel.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So let's walk down.
Yeah, we can go that way and then that way to see more houses. Because like I said before, this part of Coyoacán, it was like the outside of Coyoacán. Coyoacán. The name Coyoacán came from coyotes, the land of the coyotes, Coyoacán. And it was...
They're still around?
No,
Any coyotes around? No, okay, good.
But we have coyotes at the south of the city in the university, UNAM. So over there they have a reservation for all these biological species. They even have pumas over there.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. But, well, this was the land of coyotes, and also we were surrounded by water, this little place. And it was also a lot of pre-Hispanic things or cities over here, because this was another town. Coyoacán, it was another town. Outside Tenochtitlan, you know? It was very far away from the center of the city.
And it was another island, right?
Yeah.
Wow, and then it continued being its own town up until Frida's time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. The 20th century with Porfirio Diaz, that was our dictator who made a lot of huge buildings, very Frenchy buildings, European buildings, because he was obsessed with European culture.
And let me interrupt you there. That's the era of architecture that's called Porfiriano.
That's right.
Okay.
And Porfiriano, it means art eclectic as well.
Yeah.
And neo-colonial style. Or if you go to Polanco, you will see a lot of California houses.
Oh, okay.
That is very similar or is the same sometimes with the neo-colonial style.
I see.
Okay. So here in Coyoacán, they started to build from 16th century. It was a very important part of the city. And that's why we're heading to the center of Coyoacán, because we're gonna see one of the oldest churches of Mexico City.
Oh, I'm so excited. So let me introduce everyone again. This is Indra.
Hi.
I-N-D-R-A?
I-N-D-R-A, yes.
Indra.
The weird thing about my name is that
Yeah.
it's an Indian name.
Oh,
It's not Mexican.
fascinating. What's the story behind that?
Oh, my father was a hippie.
Oh, cool. I've heard that a few times from a few other Mexicans Mexican hippies
Yeah,
back in the 60s. So I'm streaming today at 480p because service here in Mexico City is very tricky.
Yes.
So I just
that's
want to give
right.
you a smooth experience, but luckily, give hearts to Yubish behind us. He's shooting a bunch of footage. So we're gonna have an HD version of this, and then he's gonna use it for his own channel. So you're gonna see some of these clips on him as well.
Yeah. So one of the important parks, like this one.
Ooh, let's take a peek. Beautiful. So this is a private one.
Yeah, this. It's interesting because it's the only one that has walls, and like 18th century walls here. But it's a very huge park, and the name of the park is for the third age people. In Spanish, is tercera edad,
Okay.
or old people.
Tercera edad. That's how you say
Tercera
it.
edad,
You say
yeah.
the old people.
When you
Okay.
reach the 60 years old,
Yeah.
you are a people of the third age.
Okay, let us know who's tercera edad over here, third age.
Tercera edad. If you reach 60 years old,
Let us know.
it's when you are a people of the third age.
Oh, I see. And then there's always a lot of different greenery here in
Yes.
Mexico City.
Yes, we are a very green city.
Right.
Even that we are a huge city,
Yeah.
we love green spaces, and that's why we have a lot of parks. This also is because we used to have a lot of water, and that's why we used to have a lot of trees. Coyoacán was known by the fruits, the fruital trees.
Yes.
Uh-huh.
Yes.
That's why we have all of these trees, and always we try to recover the trees that we have in the city.
Oh.
So that's why you will see a lot of trees. These ones are new, but we always try to preserve the green of the city.
So we have an architect like Luis Barragan who
Yes.
incorporated nature into
Yes.
his houses.
Yes.
Is this common or was that just him?
No, for Barragan, it's very interesting because the architects of that era,
Yeah.
they didn't like Barragan.
Oh no.
They always saw him like the gardener, the architect, the gardener, because he also wanted to put a lot of plants
I see.
in his projects. And that's why the people didn't like him. It's very interesting because it's our only priester in Mexico, but he didn't build for big enterprises, or he never built big things. He always thought for the interior, like because he also read about a lot of philosophy, you know. So that's why it's very interesting how he is the only architect, the Mexican architect, that has the priester.
Oh, fascinating.
Because also he doesn't have a lot of buildings. Almost all of the buildings are houses. He has a convent as well at the south of the city, Capuchinas convent, and also he has a club for horses at the north of the city, and a few houses at the west of the city.
Oh.
His own house, and the last house that he did was the Casa Gilardi. That the owner is the son of the Gilardi guy.
Okay.
That he was the partner of Barragan, because Barragan also was marketing.
Right.
So he did a lot of things.
Oh, that's wonderful. So he those are the only houses you could really find in Mexico City from his, or is there any in this area?
At the south, only the Capuchinas convent.
Okay. So let me show a little bit around before we continue walking. You get a sense of Coyoacán.
From here we're entering already to the center of Coyoacán, and you will see the difference between the architecture. Because, for example, this one is already from the 18th century, but it's an eclectic style. No, sorry, this is from 20th century already, okay? How do we
It
know?
looks older.
No, it's from 20th century.
Fascinating.
I can tell you because of that detail over there.
Yeah.
Because it's a very interesting detail. It's more like very geometrical detail. If we were in 18th century, we will have a neoclassic style, but a little more rough.
I see.
No. The
You mean with
this
the
building.
bricks or the?
The bricks and no, the top part of the
Okay,
window.
I see that. Yeah, it looks very ornate.
Exactly.
Which
That's
would have
why-
been more expensive before.
Yeah, exactly. Because of the tools. They didn't have a lot of tools in the 18th century to make this look better. Also, the history of the way to build in Mexico after the Spanish people arrived is that almost all of the people who built were indigenous people. So that's why a lot of details were very rough. We're gonna see it in the church.
And very,
Because-
lots of color here, even the colorful.
This is because
garage.
it is a school.
Oh, it's a school.
Yeah.
Schools have a lot of murals as well.
Yeah.
outside.
Yeah. The muralism introduced in the 1930s by Diego Rivera. And for example, if you see that detail, you will see already that is also it's an eclectic building. It's a gym right now. But you will see the detail there that is very Frenchy, you know. You can tell that this is a Porphyrian building only because of the ornaments.
Oh, so Porfirio loved ornate
Yes. Yes,
architecture.
he wanted to he was like a show-off man, you know?
Yeah, he had the beard to match. So,
Exactly.
so a lot of people are going to be asking with the cobblestones.
The
or,
cobblestones,
or
well,
blocks.
These are new,
Yeah.
but we're gonna see one street that it has stones, like river stones.
Oh, fascinating.
This is like the way towns because of the horses,
Yes, the carriages or the yeah, exactly, the carriages.
Oh,
Yeah.
here, for example, the churros. We're gonna talk about food as well.
Yeah, let's do it.
So one important and famous thing about Coyoacán is that you will have churros, but churros filled with anything you like or you want. For example, you can have chocolate,
Oh, cool.
you can have peach, mango, condensed milk. What else?
And what's the jocote?
The jocote. It's a fruit. It's a fruit. How can you relate? What? Like a guava, but
Guava.
this. Huh? I don't know.
Apple.
Oh, apple. Oh,
Crab apple.
Oh,
Crab apple. Yes, that's right. Crab apple. Like the one in The Simpsons.
oh, fascinating. Of course, music everywhere
Yeah.
in the streets.
Yeah, Mexico City is a very loud city.
It is.
So, like the modern towns for the Porphyrian era, it was made with stones in the streets.
Oh, I see. So they really loved Europe.
Yes.
They weren't trying to emulate America or other.
If we're talking about Porfirio Diaz, it was because he wanted a lot of European style.
And Carl says the historic center in Mexico City.
We are at the south, like south. So we are now in the center of Coyoacán, and we're gonna see different buildings over here. This one is a bank, but this building is already from the 18th century, with a little Baroque style. That is a Mexican Baroque style. That is very simple. It's not as a lot of ornament, but the churrigueres is a lot of ornament.
Oh, I see.
Here, the Baroque style, you can see it in the ornaments over at the top. For example, the little canyons over there, that's for water, for rainwater.
Yeah, gargoyles,
Yes.
except without the faces.
Gargoyles,
Yeah.
that's right. And over here, in black stone,
Yes.
that's volcanic rock as well, but the name is Tezontle. And over here we have quarry. That we have this quarry, the name is Pink Quarry. That it came from the north of the country. from Zacatecas, mostly Querétaro, Aguascalientes, that they are another cities of Mexico. And over here, this one, the name is Recinto.
Oh, wow.
So we have, and it was very common to have these buildings in the 16th century.
Oh, so that's why most buildings have that on the bottom. Okay.
Here in Coyoacán, we didn't have a lot of floodings. We have more floodings at the center of the city. You'll see the recinto higher, like 1 meter or something like that. You will see the buildings with that detail higher.
Oh,
okay.
I see. Fascinating.
And over here, this is the local government building for this alcaldía or community, Coyoacán. And they say that this belonged to Hernán Cortés. But this building was built in the 18th century.
Oh, is this the legendary first taqueria?
No.
No, okay.
No. No, the first taqueria here, I don't think it's here in Coyoacán. We're gonna ask Ubish as well.
So Hernan did not live here.
He didn't live here.
Okay.
Because they were researchers that found that this building was built in 18th century.
Oh,
Hernán Cortés was already dead by then. So, but they say that the land belonged to Hernán Cortés. So if you see, it's like a very country house as well, like these huge haciendas. Because after downtown, after the historic district in downtown, here we have a lot of celebrations for Independence Day. So that's why they have their own bell.
Oh, I see.
How does it work with the bell? This is because the Independence Day, the September 15, there was a guy who, he was a priest, Miguel Hidalgo y Costilla. And to proclaim the Independence Day, he just rang the bell. The original one is at downtown in the National Palace at the center of the city. But this all happened in Hidalgo.
And is that what's called El Grito de la Independencia?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
That's
and
why
that's
it's
done,
El Grito.
the president still does that
Exactly.
on an annual basis. Okay.
And all the years, when they do that in downtown, they also do it here in Coyoacán. Because Coyoacán is a place for a lot of tradition as well. If you can tell, you don't feel that you're in the city here. It's like a little town.
Right.
And for example, that it is also a Porfirian gazebo. It was donated by Porfirio Diaz to downtown, to the center of Coyoacán.
Beautiful. And a lot of people, Wendy, Smee, a few others, Joe, are saying that you're an excellent tour guide.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Yubish, can you provide us with the PayPal soon so people could leave her her PayPal address?
It's a little weird,
if
sorry.
you could write it down, yeah.
Yeah, sorry.
Okay.
Satadratu, como Satadratu. But in one of the earthquakes, I think it was in the 1985, not in the last one. They lost. Yeah.
Oh, and so that was the steeple. That was the very pointy
steeple,
part.
yes,
Okay.
that's right. And if you see again this building, you will see that it's because it's from the latest 18th century. We have already part of the neoclassic style. But also here in Coyoacán, we have a very interesting style in architecture because a lot of people started to build with Moroccan architecture. We're gonna see it more, mostly in the 18th century. It's very interesting because we have this mixture with neoclassic style and Moroccan architecture, and also sometimes Baroque. So it's very interesting.
Yeah. Oh,
yes.
Very eclectic.
Yes, exactly.
Compared to other cities where they tend to have a uniform style, like Paris.
Yeah.
As you create.
No, the cathedral.
Or is it the one behind?
The one behind. We have a very interesting
Yeah.
that is very close. You will see like the ornaments, like the name in Arab is like a haraka.
Oh. Okay.
And that's the ornament of the Moroccan architecture. And this is because even the arrived to Mexico, they of them.
Oh,
So
fascinating.
it's the whole mixture, you know.
So when they conquer, they also get the. And is there any Aztec in?
A little of it, because here they weren't Aztecs, they were Coyoacanenses. Like, I don't know how do you say that.
Right.
Coyoacan people,
Right.
because the another town, and they were conquered by the Aztecs, the people of Coyoacán. So they needed to pay tribute to the Aztecs. Century.
Right.
And all of these people surrounding the central area already existed. So
And-
when the Aztecs arrived, well, I'm gonna tell a little about the story about the downtown.
Right.
The Aztecs arrived because of this legend that they will find an eagle eating a snake on the top of a cactus on an island.
Right.
That is our flag, okay? So they found that at the center of the city. And it was a little island, but it was a rough island because it was filled with snakes, bugs, weird water, and all of that. So that's why, for example, the people of Coyoacán, the people of Xochimilco, the people of Tlatelolco, Azcapotzalco, that there were another little towns that they already existed. The Aztecs arrived with them and they told them like, hey, I want to use this land. And they were like, yeah, it's an ugly land, have it. You will die anyway. But they didn't know that the Aztecs will eat the snakes, eat the bugs, just clean the land, and they started to kill the other people to conquer them.
For sacrifices
Yes,
as well. Yeah.
exactly. So that's why it was a huge empire, because they were very aggressive, you know?
I see.
So that's why this was another culture, not exactly like the Aztec culture, that they were conquered.
That is interesting. And the thing is, they weren't like an empire in the way that the Romans were, where there was a central government.
Yeah.
They let the other
Yeah.
governments like rule within quotation marks.
Yes. I'm gonna tell you something about this. Because if you see, we have already also the Volcanic Rock. But like I said before, this is one of the oldest churches of Mexico City. It was built in 16th century. You can imagine that it was a wall all over this square and the other one. So all of this was part of the church, okay?
I see.
And if you see the stones, this is the way they used to build the pyramids.
Oh,
Okay.
fascinating. With unshapen rocks.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. And like this one as well. If you see, like, this is the way that they build the pyramid. You will see it in Teotihuacan.
And the fascinating thing is, yeah, I can't wait to see in Teotihuacan. The fascinating thing is they did this kind of cement.
Yeah, well, this
Mixture.
is exactly. And for example, as well, we will see it in the other way, like in the facade of the church. One, if you are asking about that noise,
Yeah.
this is a heritage from France as well. They were introduced in the 19th century by Porfirio Diaz as well.
Oh, really? They were
Yeah.
introduced by Porfirio Diaz.
Yeah. Now it's closed, but
It's closed at this moment. Why?
the church,
Yeah.
because of the pandemic, only they open when they have service or a mass.
Oh, I see. Okay. Because I managed to get into it like
Yeah,
3 days ago.
yeah.
So refer to
to
my
show you.
video 3 days ago in the bus tour if you want to see the inside.
Yeah. For example, I'm gonna tell you about this cathedral. Well, it's not a cathedral. It's a big church. This is a Dominican church, And you can tell because of the symbol at the facade, the first symbol,
Zoom in.
cross with the 4 stars, okay? That's the symbol for the Dominican guys.
I see.
Then you will see like these empty spaces over there.
Yeah.
They used to be saints, but we don't know what happened to them. And then we have over there that symbol, the second symbol, is IHS.
Yeah.
That is Iusus Homini Salvatore in Latin. And then we have the little lamp over there. That is this is because it's the church of San Juan Bautista, and that's the symbol of San Juan Bautista. That one,
Saint John for
exactly, Saint John. I don't know what that one is. I'm not sure.
Let us
but
know.
The other one is the Dominican symbol as well. Renovated in the 17th and 18th century, and if you see that we have we have one tower only, but the interesting thing also, if you see that arc over there, it's a Baroque arc.
Okay.
So again, we have the mixture.
Yeah.
The 16th century, the architecture of the 16th century, it was very simple. Okay.
They didn't make their mind.
No. then the Baroque happened. Okay.
Okay.
So for example, the tower over here is from the 16th century, and if you see the top of the tower, you will see like details from the pyramids.
Ooh, okay, where do I zoom in?
At the top of the tower, the yellow and the red one.
Okay, let's do that.
You will see a lot of that also in Teotihuacan, maybe. You can compare it.
Fascinating.
Okay.
So everyone remember this because we're gonna see some similar.
And then they have that part that is the Baroque from the 18th century, 17th century, 18th century. And then we have all these arcs over here. It was a phenomenon from the 16th century because the indigenous people didn't enter to the main church. The main church were the indigenous people, they were allowed to have service outside because it was also a very common thing, for example, with the pyramids and all of that. They were outside taking the ceremony, not at the inside of the temple. So that's why the Franciscans mostly, they decided to make the open chapels.
Oh, I
Right
see.
now it's closed, it's very modified, but over there it was all open and the priests were over there and all the indigenous people over here, okay?
So the Franciscans were trying to combine some Aztec customs.
They were not aggressive, the Franciscans.
Okay.
They were like more trying to teach to the indigenous people
And
the different ways.
Did they say the mass in Nahuatl?
And sometimes, yes, but the Nahuatl weren't the original language. The Spanish people made the Nahuatl the main language.
Okay. Okay.
So they started to do some services and masses in Nahuatl, and then there were a lot of time that they made the services in Latin as well.
So BB, yes, this is 1500s, and B Griffin asks, is that an Aztec wall? It isn't. So
no, it's it's only that the people who used to build this in the 16th century were indigenous people.
So is it true that out pieces of temples and put it here?
Exactly. Yes, that's a fact.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's not an Aztec wall, but pieces of it are probably from Aztec temples or Aztec architecture nearby.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And we're gonna see that cross. That's the original cross. Churches, they start to make the atrium cross, that it was very important to have the atrium cross. They also say that it was all of this was a graveyard.
Right.
Okay?
That was a graveyard. Oh, okay, I see. Aztec graveyard or a Spanish graveyard?
No, Spanish, because of the church over here. And you will see that it's a very simple cross, but it's the original one from the 16th century, and it's one of the best guarded crosses, atrium crosses. It's a very important piece for all the churches, all these big churches. And if you see it from here, another important thing about the church, because the facade was modified in the 17th, 18th century, well, because you will see, and also 19th century, because you will see the neoclassic style already. But these columns over here, like in Spanish is contrafuerte, like, I don't know how to say that in English, but it's like...
So,
It's like with big palace. For example,
Okay.
those are from the 16th century. Okay.
Fascinating. And why does the cross have corners at the end? Asked B. Griffin.
The which one?
This cross, it has a.
The other one?
There's an interesting design. No, this one that we're standing in front. Right here.
Like this.
Yeah.
This is because of the representing of the
hammering
the
on
hammer
yeah.
and the Jesus Christ all crossed.
And his arms.
And his arms and and his feet.
I see.
You see that?
Contrafuente translates to abutment. Ooh, never heard that word. Abutment.
Abutment. Thank you.
Abutment, yeah.
Thank you so much. Abutment. I didn't know that.
Yeah, never heard that word either.
Over there you will see the tranvía. It's like a cable car
Oh, that's
from
so
San
cool.
Francisco. Because of this was a town. It wasn't part of the main city. That was the transport to enter to this part of the city. Also, they have a lot of them in downtown.
Cool.
I don't know if we can cross over here. Be careful here because
Right.
in Mexico City.
They don't allow you to cross. Priority.
Also, this part.
It's
Yeah.
but hopefully you can listen to some parts.
So all of these buildings were already from the 18th century, okay? Because the rich people of the center, they wanted their country houses in Coyoacán.
Right.
And nowadays, Coyoacán is well known by the restaurants, the churros, and also we have a very large population of hippies and having handcrafts and all of that, and also a lot of indigenous handcrafts as well. We have, be careful. We have a little market. We have a little market behind this store over here that is the Sunburns of Koyokan.
And are we gonna mention the coyotes?
Oh yeah, but yeah, we can.
Let's just
do it
mention
this
it.
way.
Because you mentioned Coyoacán
Yes.
is an indigenous word that end up getting into English.
Yes.
Yeah, with coyotes.
Uh-huh.
Coyotes.
Exactly. Coyotes. That is like the image of Coyoacán because of the shut down. But
Well,
it's a very interesting landmark as well.
Why is that? Is it because this park gets really full? People gathering?
Yes.
I see, okay.
Yes, because of the pandemic and all of that. But if you used to came here like before the pandemic, this was crowded as hell.
That's why, okay.
Mostly in Friday night, Sunday and Saturday. It's crowded. All escape from the busy city to this oasis in the middle of the city already.
Right, right.
Because if you see as well, it's a little less loud, this part. Except
a little bit emptier today. When is the time where it gets very full?
oof, very full. For example, today is Tuesday,
Yeah.
mostly at night.
At night, okay.
Because of the people working and all of that. So they came to Coyoacán to for example, this one, they sell mezcal, corazón de maguey.
Oh, nice.
So at night, if you are tired of work or anything, you can come here to grab some mezcal here.
Do you have some pulque?
Pulque here, I don't. I think they have. They have pulque?
Yeah. I mean, if they have maguey, yeah, they might have.
they might have.
Joe asked, did the Spaniards introduce Catholicism here to the New World? Yeah, they did. Yeah.
Yes.
Because there really isn't like Episcopal, there's not Protestant churches here.
Yes, we have Protestant, but they arrived later, like, I don't know, in the 20th century already.
Right.
But mostly, well, we were Catholic, very, very Catholic, until maybe even the Revolution, because even in the Independence Day, our symbol was the Guadalupe Virgin. That is a Catholic image. And also the government were almost Catholic. The church was very related to the government. until the 19th century.
Oh, interesting.
Uh-huh.
Until the Cristero War,
Exactly.
which you're gonna find out about tomorrow because I'm gonna visit La Basilica de Guadalupe.
And over there you will see that arch. That was the entrance to the atrium of the church. Uh-huh. It's that right now they are renovating it because it was very damaged because of the earthquakes.
Was it the most recent earthquake that just happened? It's like 2017. Yeah.
But if you see at the top of the door,
Yeah.
you will see that symbol. That is the cross with the two arms, the crossed arms.
Oh, I
That
see.
is the Franciscan symbol.
So let me show it over here.
I'm telling you about and all of that because they were the orders, the religious orders that arrived first to Mexico. The first one was the Franciscans.
Yeah.
Why the Franciscans? Because the Franciscans were the hippies.
Right.
Why? Because they were devotional poor.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
They were poor, so the Spanish people knew that the Franciscans wouldn't steal anything from the crown.
Oh, I
So
see.
that's why the Franciscans arrived first. Then the Dominicans arrived, that they were the justice. So they brought us the Spanish Inquisition downtown as well. Then the Jesuits arrived. The Jesuits were the knowledge only for Spanish people. And then the Augustines. The Augustines were the last ones, well, in that era, because the city was divided in four, with four orders, religious orders.
Oh, fascinating.
The Augustines were only for praying and meditating and all of that. Okay.
Fascinating. So the Catholic Church is very strong, was
Yeah.
very strong, or still is very
It's
strong.
still through this street.
Yes, and Yuvish, can we get her PayPal?
I don't know how to share it with you, but I have it over here.
No, just write it in text so we can
okay.
show it. Yeah.
Well, it's this one.
Okay.
Satadratu.
So if you guys could write it down right now.
satadratu@gmail.com.
Oh, sorry.
Arrobas is in French.
PayPal.me/satad.
Satadratu.
Consider leaving Indra a PayPal right now if you're loving the tour.
Thank you so much.
I appreciate
Just be
people who
careful.
super chat, but if you also enjoy it, feel free to give
We
it to
can cross
Indra
now.
directly.
Do you remember I told you about the Moroccan architecture style?
Yes.
This house is a very well example of the Moroccan architecture. We're gonna
Is it
cross
called
over here.
Alcazar? Alcazar?
A jaraka, the
Jaraka,
ornaments.
okay.
A jaraka.
Jaraka.
Here is this one. This is the jaraka. It was made like aplanado, like a very like a dove,
Yeah.
almostly. Where to tie the horses? Where to tie the horse over here? And very baroque ornament, saint protect. But yes, almost all of the houses in this street are from 18th century and 20th century already. And they were big houses because they were houses for rich people.
And the rich people were mostly Spaniards as well.
Yes.
In the beginning. at
Yes.
least,
The rich Spanish families from the 16th century, 17th century that arrived to Mexico to make a lot of money. And like I always say as well, even those families, they needed to show to the other Spanish people that were in Spain that they were wealthy in Mexico. Look at this. This is a shield. This was the house of Diego de Ordaz. Diego de Ordaz was one of the conquerors. Okay.
Oh, fascinating.
They say that maybe it's only a legend that
Yeah.
he lived here, but we have this testimonial over there. And another thing for
Horses, yeah.
horses.
So-
And over there you will see from the 20th century English
English. Oh,
English
that's
architecture,
fascinating.
like trying to copy the style of the English architecture. Yeah.
Doesn't look very English.
Yeah.
You think so?
I don't know. But it's like very interesting because this is a government house
Oh, I see.
for little kids. But it's amazing. It's very beautiful. But it's already from the 20th century.
It has a little turret as well.
Exactly.
Oh, beautiful. Okay, chico. So they don't like filming in governmental buildings.
Yes.
That's it, right? Yeah.
Yes, I know.
B. Griffith says, with all those spikes, it says, stay away.
Yeah.
Super beautiful, says Wendy, the street.
Yeah. Yeah. Like I said before, it's just like you're not in the middle of the city.
Yeah.
It's a little town in the middle of the city. And you will see that these big houses, that they are amazing, and almost all of them has the thing for the horses.
And were these where they would store the horses?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, and also the big houses has these big doors because of the carriages. They
Right.
used to have a big carriages as well. This is beautiful. Like for example, this is a personal house for someone, but they have already this one. Casa de los Villalobos.
Oh, very cool.
That it was a very common thing as well, to have like the name of the family
Yeah.
in front of the houses. Over there.
Oh, that's nice. So this translates into the house of the Wolf Town or
Yeah,
Wolf
something,
Village?
yeah. Wolf Village. Yeah, something like that.
This reminds me a lot of the architecture in El Viejo San Juan in Puerto Rico.
Oh, I never been there.
Have you been to any of the other Latin? Okay,
In
okay.
Latin American countries, no. But I had a lot of people from Argentina, Peru, Colombia. Mostly the people from Peru and from Argentina, they told me that a lot of the architecture that over there.
Right. And here might be another emblem?
This
Yeah.
one, because this was like a street art or something
oh,
like
yeah,
that.
street art.
Yeah. But this one is only an ornament. It was a very common thing, for example, from the 18th century and the Baroque style.
Yeah.
You can tell that it's 18th century because of this ornament. This one, like it's like drops. They say like water drops sometimes.
I see.
That put tiles on the facades of the buildings, because the tiles were made in Puebla, the city of Puebla. That it was the Baroque style. Over there, the Baroque style is in Puebla, and Puebla made almost all of the tiles. Like the one in downtown, the House of the Tiles. It was a very common ornament from the 18th century.
Oh, very cool. House of the Tiles, yeah, which is right in the historic center as well. En esta casa vivo de 1927 hasta su fallecimiento de Lic Arturo Gómez Mancilla.
Yes.
So who is this? Do you know of him?
It was a part of the revolution, I think.
Okay.
Not very known, even for Mexicans.
Right.
Favorite houses. It's already a very new house.
Let's go this way.
But they preserve the style of Coyoacán very well.
It's a new house. Interesting.
Yeah. Oh, like a 20th century house.
Okay.
21st century house.
21st century.
Yeah.
Within the past 20 years.
Yeah.
Fascinating. Oh,
Yeah.
they made it look. They really stuck to the original details.
Yeah. Here in Mexico, the architecture must in these places, for example, that is with the architecture that you already have. It's like because of the
Yeah.
law, you know.
So in cities like New York and in Paris, you have to do the same exact type of architecture. You said merge. That means you can do something slightly different?
Yes. For example, if you have an old house that is protected by the government, you can preserve the facade and build wherever you want behind that facade. That's allowed. Over here we have again a jaracas. And here in Coyoacán you will see a lot of this. There is a lot of to sell it to you. It's very colorful and very beautiful as well.
Very beautiful, yeah. I might come back here and buy myself one of the masks.
Yes.
Yeah.
An Institute of Culture that is also American architecture. But
Yeah, but it's almost the same as Spanish when reading it, at least. And Italy here, was there ever an Italian population in Mexico City?
there is have Little Italy or in San Francisco.
Right.
But yes, we have a. And also this one was the embassy once.
Oh.
So the embassy just put it in another place of the city, and they decided to make the Italian Institute of Culture over here.
Smells like cleaning fluid.
Yeah.
Such a pretty area. I can't imagine Italy would put its embassy here, says B. Griffith. Let me read a few more comments before we continue.
Yeah.
All these colorful houses remind me of Burano, Italy.
Oh, wow.
Are we house hunting here too, Ariel? Yes, of course. Try to find my next home here in Mexico City. I'm going to take the pink one.
The pink one is really, really beautiful.
She's so gracious to enjoy his readings. Oh, okay. Indeed. I mean, I love observing architecture. I mean, it's fun. I encourage people. I know people could get very snobby with architecture, but I encourage people to take educated guesses. Yeah. It's fun. Like, try guess where it's from.
Yes.
Try guess why they made it.
Yes.
Because that's in my opinion, that's how you learn.
Yeah. Exactly.
And you might fail horribly. Like, I might say this is Georgian architecture, and while it's actually, Spanish colonial.
Spanish colonial,
Yeah.
yes. No, don't worry. It's even here in Mexico City, just because of all, and we have a mixture of everything. So it's a common mistake that you just say something that it's not for that era or from that style. It's a common thing.
Yeah, because for the common American coming here, most of them would say, "Oh, this is all Spanish colonial," except for this one.
This one they are doing this right now, but you can tell that they are merging with all the context.
I see.
This is what we call the merge with the context.
Beautiful.
So, for example, you have this all modern access over here with concrete already. The wood is the material from the land, for example, but this huge square thing. And then we have the windows that they are like the same style that we were seeing through all this street, you know? That's why it's interesting how some architects respect the context of the architecture.
It complements it. So this is a little bit brutalist style.
Exactly.
It doesn't seem so shocking.
No. It's like a modest brutalism.
Right.
Even that sounds weird.
So I am really shocked because just walking around that Mexicans do brutalist really well.
Yes.
Because brutalists can get very ugly, in my opinion, in America. But here, it's a little bit more subtle, and it matches a little bit more the other elements of architecture nearby.
Also, we have two ways to do brutalism.
Yeah.
The original one that was in the 60s, 70s is the brown brutalism that you will see, for example, in Reforma, in the National Auditorium, for example, and in the Museum Rufino Tamayo. Those two are like the things that represent the brutalism in Mexico. And the other thing is the modern brutalism that is all concrete.
Right. It's all concrete, and then there's many buildings like that scattered through the city. Yeah.
Exactly.
And there were students of Le Corbusier, I assume, at least originally.
Oh. Sorry?
Le Corbusier.
Le Corbusier.
Le Corbusier,
Yeah, like it's the modernism, the father of the modernism after the Second World War. And that happened because after the Second World War, to build houses needed to be than all the things building like this huge buildings in Europe and all of that. So that's why Le Corbusier started to make things with the functionalism. It must function, be aesthetic, and be cheap.
Right.
So that's why it happened, the functionalism and the modernism. And we started to build without ornaments. We're gonna go that way. I'm gonna take you to a very interesting alley.
Wow, B. Griffin's so generous. So B. Griffin just gave each of us a $20 PayPal.
Oh, thank you.
Wow, thank you
Thank
so
you
much.
so much.
Everyone give hearts to B. Griffin for.
So we are, look at that.
Very nice, bro. Well kept. Yeah.
And they are selling it.
Oh, everyone, I found my new car here in Mexico City. Oh, beautiful. So a lot of these buildings have courtyards.
Almost all of them have courtyards because it was like the way to build for Spanish people and also for Moroccan people.
Right.
Is the courtyard in the middle of the houses. So that's why it was huge lands, and they can build the courtyard in the middle with a fountain or with trees,
Right.
and then the bedrooms and all of that.
I have a random question. I see a lot of big windows here.
Yeah.
In New York and in London, big windows are associated because they were afraid of tuberculosis and other airborne diseases, so they built very big windows.
No, here is more also because of this style of architecture.
Okay.
We used to have big ceilings, a lot of big ceilings, to have also like a middle floor, like a mezzanine.
Oh, I see. Okay.
So that's why we have big ceilings, like you can tell with that. And because, sorry.
No worries, no worries.
And because also here in Mexico City, there is a lot of people that tell us
Yeah.
that in Mexico City the light is different, you know? That you will see things brighter.
Yeah.
Like the color is brighter, that's why we use a lot of colors, because of the light.
Oh, I see.
That was one of the sayings of Luis Barragan.
And what is
This
this?
is another park.
Oh, it's a park. Okay.
Yeah. Inside of everything.
And did they have courtyards instead of backyards as irivas?
Yeah, sometimes.
Okay.
Even sometimes they have two courtyards.
And then since some of these are mansions, did they have where the workers live, the servants? Or did they have servants in the first
They
place?
have, yeah, it's a common thing even in, I think it's this way.
Yeah.
Let me, I always get lost when I try to enter to the alley.
Oh no, yeah, that's okay. Here in Urbanists, we like
Yeah.
getting lost.
So yeah, like I said, for example, in downtown, all the palaces of the rich people used to have two entrances, one for the main family and one for the servants and the horses. So mostly, if you will enter to the place,
Beautiful yellow house right there.
yeah.
Recognition. Yeah, when I say hearts, you can put any heart, but the official Urbanist emoji is the orange heart. And I got a heart emoji for supporters as well.
Look at that one. Like the name of the street. Okay?
Ah, this is my favorite name.
Calle del Aguacate.
Calle de Aguacate. Which means avocado, not the other
Avocado.
thing. Which the Aztecs were referring to.
And we're gonna enter to this alley. That it's a very interesting alley because it has a lot of legends.
Yeah. Ooh.
So one of the legends tell us that in this alley used to live an old military guy in the 1930s, and because he was very damaged about the war and all that, he was mad. He was like crazy. He was a crazy guy, and because he always had his like his vest with a lot of medals in it, there was a little kid that always wanted to play with him. But because he was crazy, he was very angry because of that, because he hated kids.
Oh no.
So he killed the little kid
Oh, okay.
in this alley. And they say that there was a priest seeing the murder, and also a few people seeing as well the murder of the kid. So that's why they say if you arrive here at 12 a.m. and walk through the alley, you will hear the screaming of the kid, and also you will hear chains, and also you will hear like a wolf as well.
Yeah. Oh, wolf as well.
And
Yubish, sound effects, sound effects.
a wolf.
Oh, there we go. Oh, what was that? What was that?
Oh my god. And
oh, wow, that is
why,
scary. So
yeah.
people claim that they hear the kid also screaming.
Yes.
Wow.
And they said that the alley, the name is Avocado Alley because they have a huge avocado tree. I'm not sure.
This one over here?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, it might be this one. Yeah, let us know
Might be this one.
if this is an avocado tree.
The avocado tree, that's why it's the name. And the military man decided to put a little virgin in the place where he killed the little kid.
Oh.
And we're gonna see the virgin.
Oh, they still have it. Wow.
Yes, I think it's in the other corner.
This is already scary on itself if you come here very late at night.
Yes.
Yeah.
They say also that you can hear horses, for example. The funny fact, this thing over here, this is the adobe.
Oh, I see.
This is the adobe.
Adobe.
It's over here, the virgin. Are you ready to run?
I'm trained in ghost hunting, so.
Look at
I wear bright shirts on purpose to how do you say empastar? I can't say it. To scare away the ghost.
Espantar.
Espantar. Ahí está.
So this is the version of Del Carmen. The version of there is another legend of this virgin that they say that it's like a werewolf that sometimes arrive here and try to scratch the virgin.
Oh, I see a werewolf.
But he never can scratch the virgin, so just get away.
Wow. And is Carmen also a Mexican
Virgin
Mary?
del Carmen, yeah, almost all the virgins are Virgin Mary, all of them.
Of course.
Even the Guadalupe Virgin.
Right.
But it depends, the virgin, it depends of the place where it is located, and also the miracle that they did in the place where they did the miracle. So Virgen del Carmen here is because we have another neighborhood. Right now we are in the Santa Catarina neighborhood in Coyoacán, but we have another neighborhood that is Del Carmen. That neighborhood was made also in the Porfirian era. It's a 20th century neighborhood in Coyoacán as well, the Virgen del Carmen. From Spain as well.
Oh, fascinating. Right here. And yes, you can find Indra. You appear on the Mexico Underground YouTube. Yeah.
Yes, I also appear on the Mexico Underground YouTube with Ubish.
Yeah, with Ubish, yeah. Yeah, it's three people, 4 people?
Three people. We are 3 people. We are like the food guy, the architecture girl, and the Teotihuacan and eclectic guy. Archaeology, because he has a lot of things to say about everything.
Right.
Raw.
Is there one more stop?
Yeah, we are gonna get out of the alley.
Great.
Hope nothing happens.
Right. So
if you see ghosts, please tell us.
This is going to turn into a ghost hunting episode.
Yeah, somehow.
So Omer says Virgen del Carmen comes from the Mount Carmel in Israel.
Oh, that's amazing.
we got to learn a little bit more about her.
Thank
That's
you.
interesting.
Thank you for that.
Because there's 3 popular Our Ladies. There's Guadalupe, Carmen, and what's the other one? That appears a lot here.
Here in Mexico.
Yeah.
The Virgin of Guadalupe. There is the Virgin of San Juan de los Lagos, but she doesn't have a name.
Okay.
Look at this. Street art.
Beautiful. Oh!
The ajolote.
Yes, the famous Aztec salamander.
Yeah, exactly. The ajolote. That's the name of the pink salamander, and the cute pink salamander.
I want to find one. Where can I find one?
In Xochimilco.
Oh, okay.
And be careful with the. Yeah, Xochimilco at the south of the city, where you will find the canals, and over there you will see how the city were surrounded by canals.
Here we, oh,
They have a kid.
okay, so this is very suggestive because avocado is the womb.
Yeah.
That's fascinating.
And also here we have Quetzalcoatl.
That's very suggestive, actually.
Yeah.
Quetzalcoatl, the serpent god, the
Yeah.
feather serpent. That is interesting. Is that supposed to be Xaulacuica? What? I always
The mother,
Right.
the mother goddess.
Yeah.
Well, that's Tanantzin. About Koyoshowski, she's the one,
Yeah.
the goddess.
Do you think this is supposed to be her? Maybe?
Maybe.
Because we see Quetzalcoatl on the bottom.
Yeah, but they use, for example, we have the corn it's like a way of the corn over here.
Yeah.
And here we have the representation of the different ways of the humanity.
Oh, I see.
And the Catarina, the Calavera of Day of the Dead.
Oh, fascinating. Oh, beautiful artwork.
And here we have another virgin, and this is San Martín de Porres.
San Martín de Codas. De Pedos? De
De
what?
Porres.
Porras.
I think that's San Martín because they say that he could speak with the animals. That's why it's represented with a lot of animals.
Oh, I see. Beautiful. And Guadalupe.
And Guadalupe, the Virgin of Guadalupe, that is the mother of Mexico.
We're going to see the original one tomorrow.
And then we're gonna go up this way. We're gonna go back to the main street where we were walking. About the time, we are good in time.
We're good. It's about it's about 1:20.
Okay.
So maybe 10 more minutes.
Okay, we can end in Santa Catarina Square. No, it's over here. No, Fonoteca is to the left. Santa Catarina.
As Phil says, patrón de los imposibles.
Patrón de los imposibles. Yes. The impossible things. Well, there is another that is the saint of the causas difíciles or difficult causes.
Yeah.
That is San Judas. San Judas Tadeo. This is very, very famous here in Mexico. San Judas Tadeo. Okay, let's keep going.
And do you guys have, someone asked just now, do you have any recommendations for coffee shops?
Coffee shops here, yes, I have a lot of them because I'm a very coffee people.
Give us your top two.
Top two here in Coyoacán, Café Ruta de la Seda. We already passed in front of it.
Ruta de la Seda.
Café Ruta de la Seda, and also in the corner of the square, the main square with the church is, you will find Café del Barrio Viejo.
Café de Barrio Viejo. So feel free to write those down.
We're gonna that way. Café del Barrio Viejo. Over there in Café del Barrio Viejo, they make an afogato.
They make that here. Yeah, that's cool.
Look,
Just
again,
add some churros and then you're set.
yeah, you can. Also, you need to try the churros. It's the common thing here in Coyoacán.
So it's common, it's famous in Coyoacán. Churros.
Churros,
Yeah.
yes, it's very common. You need to come to Coyoacán to eat churros. Only.
Okay, that's good
And
to know.
Drink coffee.
Okay, so I'm gonna do that afterwards. Where can I get churros and coffee at the same place?
In Café del Barrio Viejo.
Café de Barrio Viejo. Okay, everyone. So maybe I'll be doing a bonus video there. Stay tuned.
We're going this way
beautiful.
because this is the Santa Catarina Square. That is like I said before. This is like the Santa Catarina neighborhood in Coyoacán. Okay, so cross quickly.
Yeah.
And this is a very beautiful place because it's also hidden mostly. And they say that house over there, it was the house of the Malinche, but it can be as well because it's already built in the 18th century. And
Yes.
here,
Let me just mention one more leyenda. So there's another leyenda
oh yeah,
that La Malinche comes out every night, and you
yeah.
hear a woman crying hysterically. And La
Like-
Malinche is a little bit controversial because people call her the traitor.
The traitor, but no.
But that's a little bit more complicated
Yeah.
because she hated the Aztecs. She didn't want to
Yeah.
be ritually sacrificed. So she's crying, and she's crying for all her fellow mestizos.
Like, ay, mis hijos, like that.
Right, because she's the original, or she gave birth to original mestizos,
Yes.
or the first mestizos. Yeah.
Exactly.
Mestizo, if you don't know, means a mixture between European and Native American or Indigenous American.
Yeah. Also, they say that La Malinche or La Llorona appears always in river places.
Oh, fascinating.
So here in Mexico City, the only river that we get left like outside, because all of them are in pipes, almostly, is right this street down. But it will smell a lot of bad stuff over there.
So you'll be the Llorona if you're next door,
Exactly.
because you'll cry from all the terrible
Exactly.
sulfur smell.
The little chapel of Santa Catarina, it was made also in the 16th century. If you see, you don't have any ornament, only the facade has ornament. This is because
Yeah.
it's from the 16th century. And you will see that it's very rough because of the indigenous people did this chapel. The hands of the indigenous people did this chapel. Okay?
They weren't trained in
No.
European architecture.
No, not at all. So they started to build like they used to build their pyramids,
Right.
right?
Which is a very different style. That's why
Uh-huh.
it was hard to get used to. So,
Uh-huh,
yeah.
exactly. So even if you see the ornament here, that I think is from the 16th century as well.
Sunshine asks, where are the chupacabras? That is not so much associated with Mexico, more a little bit northern Mexico, but
Yeah.
that's more the Caribbean.
You will see the ornament is rough as well, right?
Yeah.
It's not very.
Yeah, it is a bit rough. Has a little bit of charm to it. Also, it looks a bit wiggly. Is it because of the land? Has,
Yeah, no, not the land. It's because of of even the hands of the indigenous people.
Okay.
That they didn't have also the tools to make it straight.
Okay, so
right?
it's a little bit hard to see,
Yeah, I know.
but you get a sense.
But this chapel as well originally was an open chapel.
Ooh, that's dirty. Wow. They haven't cleaned this in ages.
You need to clean this.
So let's describe what do we see inside.
Okay, we are seeing, for example, the window over there that is also a crosses with a cross in the middle.
Yeah.
That's like the mosaic or the vitral. How do you say vitral?
Stained glass.
Yeah, stained glass.
Yeah,
Thank you.
in
I
the
always
words.
forget that. Well, I forget a lot of words. Sorry. And then we have at the bottom the altar. The altar is from the. I think it's already from the 20th century because it's an eclectic style.
And then we have the tiling as
The
well.
tiling as well, it could be from the 17th century. And like I said before, the modern streets in towns were all filled with stone, okay? And all of this is volcanic stone mostly.
And-
That you will find this kind of stone mostly in the south of the city because the volcano, the Xitle volcano, was at the south of the city, and the explosion was like in, I don't know, a lot of time ago, even before the Aztecs arrived to the city, the Xitle were already exploded. Okay?
Oh, wow.
So that's why there is rocks, even indigenous constructions. Also, they say that below this church, they have ruins, pyramids. I think the name of this area was Omecoc, something like that. Ometoc.
Okay.
That was the name of the location of the indigenous place here in the Santa Catarina neighborhood.
Fascinating. It's crazy to think that we might be walking around many places in Mexico City and there's ruins underneath
Yes.
from the Aztec times or pre-4 or other tribes.
One of the
Yeah.
things that they say, if you see almost in all the city,
Step into the shade, yeah.
you will see a lot of different levels. Here you can see it very well,
Yeah.
but maybe, for example, here and over there is a little. This is because, the city is sinking. We all know that. The city is sinking in different levels. And they say when we are standing like in the top of the sinking is because below we have the the ruins of the pyramids. And it's a very common thing here in Coyoacán, in downtown, in Tlatelolco as well, and I don't remember in another part of the city. But if you see sinkings in different levels in any place, you will find that below we have the ruins, the pre-Hispanic ruins.
Oh, I love that. That's amazing. Indra, where can people find more of your work?
Well, I also have an Instagram account, and I speak a lot of architecture over there and history of architecture. My Instagram is Satadratu, just like my PayPal.
So if someone can write that down right now, the PayPal
Satadratu.
/ Instagram.
SATAD.
Awesome.
Okay.
And then Mexico Underground.
In Mexico Underground, we work together with Ubish. If you want a tour through Mexico Underground as well, if you can come to Mexico City, you can ask for anything you want about architecture, food, and also anything else. We can provide all of the tours that you want.
They're private tours, so there is some sort of customization. So people can request a neighborhood, right?
Yes, exactly.
So you do a bunch of different neighborhoods all around the city. And so follow Mexico Underground. Thank you everyone so much for tuning in. I hope you enjoyed the architecture tour. I definitely did. It was so awesome learning about all the secrets here. You wouldn't know that we're standing on top of a pyramid or that there's a little kid, ghost kid in the alleyway.
Exactly.
Oh, I think I hear him. No. I'll be going to the Casa Azul. Hopefully maybe I could do a small live stream. Stay tuned. I don't know. And I'm going to go to Cineteca Nacional.
Oh, yeah. You need to go there. The architecture there is a modern architecture mixture with architecture from the 70s. It's amazing.
Right. That's why I'm so excited to go. So I'm going to go there probably around 5 p.m. So stay tuned, 5 and 6 p.m. Thank you everyone so much for tuning in. Thank you, Indra.
So much. Thank you.
Keep being awesome and always keep on exploring. Sigue siendo padrísimo y sigue explorando. Te veo.
Bye.
Bye-bye. I always do a wave goodbye if you want to join me. Everyone give hearts to you, bitch, for filming the entire thing. Have a good day.
Thank you.